These all dungeon races, they can run a little bit long compared to just a basic standard mode, because you do have to do those extra dungeons. It feels a lot more like a key sanity race to me, where you're basically going in and doing 100% clear for the game.
Absolutely, and of course, it is raining out because we're in standard mode, and that means we have to go rescue Princess Zelda from the dungeon of Hyrule Castle, which means a big turn, and then a left turn, and then a fall down the hole blocked by the magical floating bush.
Yeah, so the thing about standard mode that we always discuss is of course the requirement to get bombs here in Escape, so the runners can get those back 3 items. And normally, if you don't find bombs and you have to come back later, it's not too bad with the gloves. Interestingly enough, just last night in Ultima's race, both of the glove upgrades were in the Dark World, and the Moon Pearl was in the back there. So there are cases where it can actually be a game-changing thing, not finding that bomb.
Absolutely. And of course, ZzCube has the bomb, Ultima does not. Both runners finding the sword, of course, at Uncle, being Uncle Assured Seed, that was coming, and get the boomerang as well, and the magic powder. So a little bit of utility here to start with, and I know if Dr. Bob was watching, he'd be very happy with that powder find very early on.
Yeah, Dr. Bob and myself as well. Powder is my favorite item in the game. I love powdering those anti-fairies. It's essentially infinite health once you get to the Dark World. This is very generous. Our first upgrade in the escape sequence.
I'm sure our runners will be very happy to see that. Get that out of the way. A little bit closer to that Dark World access right from the get-go. Just need Hammer and Moon Pearl, or a second lift upgrade and the Moon Pearl.
Hammer would be very nice. We could do the magic bat check on our initial Kakariko visit, but the French vanilla boomerang's nice because we get to see what our stun prize is. If it's bombs or rupees, that might get Ultima the bomb that he's looking for.
Absolutely, Ultima hoping to find that bomb for having to go into the sewers here. That's one of the things to keep in mind too, is that in Escape we will have, because it's a standard mode, we will have the magical glowing light.
Well, having picked up those gloves, it's a lot less of an issue now, because we can just save and quit to the sanctuary and enter from the graveyard if we have to. It's a lot less of an urgent priority. It still would be a nice to have, and different enemies have different prize pools, so if we don't get anything from the green guards, we can still try the rats and the bats in the sewer.
Absolutely, Tiru. Yeah, of course we're seeing both runners now very quickly making their way up from the prison cell to get back up to the throne room, and they'll go through the big back door behind the altar, I believe. It's not an altar, it's gosh, what is it? It's like, a lot of people call it an altar, but it's not. It's kind of like a crest thing.
Mantelpiece, maybe?
Yes, I think so. That would be a good way to describe it. Mantelpiece.
I like the sprite choices today. We have one that has extra colors, and then we have a drab link. I know Ultima, I've seen him use the rainbow one before. I don't know if this is Cube's traditional sprite, or if it just worked out nicely that way.
I think Cube has the Robo Link is what that one is.
It looks like a metal link.
Indeed. It's like Ultima stole all the color from Robo Link, so Robo Link is going to get it back. Boomerang was in the first chest in Link's house.
Yeah, it's nice to have the boomerang. Ultima is down to 1 heart there.
Really
nice 8 bomb drop. And the safety heart. The Cube, unfortunately, missing out on that bomb drop. But he's got 2 already. Moon Pearl is a nice find.
I was just about to say, there's the Moon Pearl. Something that our runners were hoping to find here.
Absolutely. It just puts us a hammer or a mitt upgrade away from Dark World access. And we can, of course, we can do Aga once we get the lamp and the sword, or the lamp and the cape. Aga's a lot less of a gamble in the all dungeons mode, because you're going to have to do it. Even if you kill Aga 2 and you're right about to enter Ganon, you would still have to mirror over and kill Aga 1. So it's not really a gamble.
Right, it's just a matter of pathing 2 hearts and a big 20 rupee and escape there. So all in all, not a whole lot once we got through the darkness.
Yeah, Cube not picking up that big 20, just walked right past it. Might be a little bit short when we get to Kakariko. We won't have enough money for the bottle vendor. Hopefully we'll find something on the tree pool, or some nice rubies in the well or blind spot before we get to that point.
And the flute! Wow! What a seed.
This is a super convenient seed. If we get that hammer, then we'll be able to one-shot Kakariko.
It's kind of like, hey, you going to the village? Here, take this.
Exactly. Yeah, old man in the sanctuary.
Indeed, we gotta check real quick there on the map. I saw a red pendant at Desert Palace, and I believe it was 2 crystals. Definitely looked like a crystal hanging up at Tower of Hera, though. I think it was just a regular blue crystal.
Yeah, I saw the 2 regular crystals and missed the pendant, so between us, we have that covered.
That's why we co-commentate. Always gotta watch each other's backs. And just a triple pack of bombs up on Lumberjack Ledge, so we know that we won't be coming back here after beating Aga.
Yeah, Cube opting not to do the Lumberjack check, just going directly for the 2 Lost Woods items. So it's a little bit of knowledge that Ultyma has. Cube will probably route that in later on if he's still looking for items when he finds the boots. It's like I said, it's not an issue. We're gonna do Aga anyway, so we just need the boots in order to be able to get them. What the Ultima's not picking up the heart piece. Only 5 hearts, and already deciding that you don't need any extra heart. That was a
Cube making the way into Kakariko now.
Yeah, it was a nice bomb drop that Cube picked up. Got him the 3 bombs he needs to get through Kakariko without having to buy any more. Very well timed. That's about it. And bombs as a stun prize is about as good as you can get. Fairies might be a little better. Late game, bombs in the early game is great, especially now that you don't have any capacity upgrades anymore and you can only store 10.
Absolutely. And we got Ether showing up in the back of Blind as well. So that is an item that perhaps could have some use later on here. If we've got to go into Misery. We do have to go into Misery, Mire, and Turtle Rock. Perhaps it opens up one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to have Medallion as well. Just, to clear certain rooms of enemies. Ether is, it's a quick casting Medallion. But with the need to go into 2 of the Medallion dungeons, there's a good chance we'll need it.
Yes, indeed. So we will see now. What else is hanging out here in the well? Hook shot. What is this seed? Tira, what is this seed?
This is a very generous seed. Our Master Sword and the hook shot, even if we don't get the boots, that hook shot is going to help with our mobility. But speaking of mobility, we get to activate our flute right now, and that's going to open up a lot of navigation. Given the seed, though, Tiger, I wouldn't be surprised if we do find the boots in Kakariko still.
Absolutely, it's entirely possible.
I do like that flute activation sync. So the Master Sword by itself doesn't open up anything, but it does get us, one of our items in order to climb Castle Tower, and it's also, of course, needed for the book activation on the Ether and Bombos tablets. So it's going to come in handy. Besides the the double damage boost that we get.
And so far, we're just kind of seeing Ultyma and ZzCube really just trace each other's footsteps at this point. Cube kind of taking the lead at the moment in a sense of exploring, but not really a lead in a sense of a race at this point. It's only 10 minutes in, not going to really have a definitive leader at this point unless something terrible happens to one of our runners. But blue mail upgrade, or mail upgrade in general, showing up on the bookshelf. And a piece of heart means we're going to flute away from the maze race.
Yeah, both runners taking the gamble that it's not going to be an item that they need. Gamble paying off. A little bit of divergence here now. Cube doing the South Shore route. Ultyma immediately going for this old man rescue. This one item is a sequence break because he doesn't have the lamp. Death Mountain access isn't, but this is actually a really nice move. I see a lot of players make. I like it. It gets you the third save the continue point, and with the flute, it's a really quick starting point with a full health refill.
Absolutely. So kind of the first big split here in choice making between Ultyma and Cube. Now this could be very interesting. We have the hook shot, so that means Ultyma will have access to East Death Mountain, at least the light world side. So that's going to be Paradox Cave and going to be picking up the Spiral Cave item, as well as a bit of intel for the floating island.
Exactly, and we'll probably also get the Spectacle Rock Cave hint prior to heading over to the East Death Mountain. Very item dense location up here, as well as mini Moldorm Cave that Cube's going to. That's our first bottle, and most importantly, our hammer gives us Dark World access now.
Absolutely, Cube finding that hammer and mini Moldorm Cave and a bottle, so that's going to be Sick Kid opened up, as well as just the entire Dark World. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing too, because hey, it's the whole Dark World. You got a lot of places to go check now. You may not find progression for a while if you make the wrong choice here.
Yeah, very nice item to find. That's not gonna throw Ultyma off though, because mini Moldorm Cave with its 5 items is not something that you end up skipping. So he will, he's not going to be going too long without his own. And Cube finishing up there in Ice Ride Cave, just 3 bombs. That's a fairly standard South Shore route here. Bringing out the flute, we can do Eastern, we can do Desert Area, or we can head up to the Death Mountain as well. And Death Mountain is the play. Let's see if this Moldorm Cave pays off as well as the other one did.
No, so far not yet. We'll see. Nope, and no.
Nope. Paradox Moldorm doesn't beat other standard mini Moldorm. Nice bomb jump though. I do love that bomb jump. That's one of my favorites. So Cube is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. Having that hammer, he's going to be able to continue over and go into Tower of Hera if he wants to. It's something that Ultyma is going to have to, backtrack for later on. Hera, you're limited in access without a fire source. You can't get that basement location, so that could block your big key progression. But it's debatable. I mean, if he does Spiral Cave, he's gonna have to climb all the way up the mountain again. Could be a little bit of a time sink.
Sure could be, but will be very interesting here to see if we see a play in the Tower of Hera at this point. Ultima's not going there. Unique items in the sewers. Well, we know what that is, don't we?
Yeah, not a helpful hint in standard mode because we have full cleared the sewers. Missing that bomb jump, that is a tricky bomb jump to set up, but I do like the cube just went for the hint tile directly. You know, it's a pretty standard play now. You just jump for the item. Is it the you only live once?
Yes.
So right now we're just you know following in each other's tracks. Only variable might be whether Cube decides to continue on to do Hera. Was the option that Ultima didn't have, but no advantage for either runner at this point.
Yeah, definitely a big question of where we go next. I'm guessing probably into the Dark World somewhere, but one of the situations is where in the Dark World? Do we go to Hype Cave? Do we go up to, you know, Kakariko? Do we do Palace of Darkness maybe even?
I think I'm gonna gamble on doing you know, Hype Cave over the digging game just because there's, was it 7 or 8 items in that path, and it's a very quick check. But alternatively, you know, doing Kakariko and Village of Outcasts would also be nice. You get the 3 items in the village and then 4 in Thieves Town, since that can be fully cleared now.
Indeed, maybe even a chance of picking up 2 from Skull Woods. That's a play I see a lot of runners make nowadays, is just to go up to Skull Woods first, because you go in there, get those first couple chests, see if there's anything of value in there, and if not, then, you know, if the fire rod, just back out, go back to Village.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do Skull Woods with so many other locations available. In an all dungeons mode, you're gonna have to come back to it later anyway. But if they can find, I like the Southern Dark World route in this case, because if they find the mitts, and then they can directly continue north into Village of Outcasts without having to do a save and quit.
I can tell you what we do have though. ZzZCube has a bacon coin, this Quake medallion.
Yeah, finally the ZzZCube's holding some value.
Yeah, it's been a while since actually I've seen ZzZCube have a value item.
This is our first, I would say, you know, major potential diversions. Cube taking advantage of that opportunity to go into Hera. If this has, you know, our mitts or mirror or something that's, you know, a really, or the boots maybe, that could be a difference, because Ultima might not come back up here for a while, even though he has everything he needs to get up here.
That's a very good point, actually.
So just a dungeon item. If this chest isn't our big key, then yeah, we're fire source locked in this dungeon. But we do get a tip that there's a unique item in Skull Woods, which is where Ultima is going right now. So maybe we'll find out what that is. It could be in the back of the dungeon, and there's only 2 items in this dungeon. One of them being a unique progression item, so that's pretty good odds.
Absolutely, will be very interesting to see here. Can we get it? It's the mirror. Oh my goodness.
That's a great item to find at this time. This early in your Dark World trip, you're not going to have to do any backtracking. You can do your Graveyard Ledge, your Cave 45. Hey, wow, 2 unique items. Your Bumper Ledge.
You know, I would say, yeah, go check it right now. Check it. You got the cave. If you need to go get it, you can go get it right now. If you don't need to get it, hey, you know, you were just up here getting the check-in real quick, so get that square off the map. It's a hard one to route in.
I mean, the game just gave you the items for Bumper Ledge and Graveyard Ledge in the same spot. If that's not a hint, I don't know what is.
It might be.
Unfortunately, Ultima doesn't want to show us the graveyard. Just doing Bumper and out. But you called the Skull Woods play though. That was a lot of value. We're seeing Village of Outcasts. We're seeing Hype Cave over on Cube's side, but man, was that value in Skullwood.
Absolutely. Getting a real quick check here. Pod's got one of the remaining pendants. The green is at Thieves Town, so that will be perhaps something we'll see Ultyma dip into real quick here. And then 5-6 crystals are at, it looked like one of them was in vanilla location. Oh my god, the Titan's Myth Hype Cave half delivering at, you know what, I'm gonna say that's fairly hype. Tempered Sword, Titan Smiths, yeah, absolutely. I'll give it props tonight.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10. I mean, that's amazing progression. That Tempered Sword's going to make so many things easier in this game, and that's the dream, you know, South Dark World, because that myth lets you you know, immediately go into Village of Outcasts. After doing the digging game, we're probably not going to want to take the frog with us because we can't turn that in without the mirror. But it's a really nice item to find.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're getting so much stuff here, Tiro. In the first 20 minutes, we've gotten mirror, Titansmith, Tempered Sword, flute, hook shot. Oh my, Moon Pearl, you know, nothing is playing hard to get yet, but you never know. We have got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah, one downside of Cube's route is, as you know, we're seeing now, is he has to walk past Cave 45 because he doesn't have the mirror. You can't check that one item. It's something that, you know, you can route in later if you're walking the purple chest down, or you can. It's not that far from the Dark World portal to begin with. That is one routing advantage that Ultima's going to have, though, having that mirror first.
Absolutely. But nothing really showing up yet in Thieves Town, which is Green Pendant Dungeon, so there's 5 items technically here.
Exactly. Nice to get the Green Pendant. Neither player has gone to Sashirala, so that'll be able to get all 4 items at that location without having to backtrack.
And Cube is going to go do, it looks like hammer pegs at the very least.
It feels a little bit like an inverted seat almost, with Thieves Town being our first dungeon. I do not like that shovel and the hammer pegs. It's poor Cube has to go backtrack yet again to that location.
Well, it could be a thing too where we see, you know, a routing that maybe makes sense for that if he does the purple chest walk.
Yeah, that definitely makes the purple chest walk down a little bit more convenient. You're able to get the K45 and the dig spot looped together. I would probably want to wait. I mean, ideally until you get the book as well, and you can do you know, the Bombos tablet. That's a nice way to end that route optimally. But Cube's going to have to get that mirror out of Skullwood before he can even consider those options.
No disagreement here on that one. That is 100% what we're going to have to wait and see. When does Cube go to Skullwood to get the mirror? Well, the cape too, but not really going to matter too much at this point, it looks like. Unless we have to go to Spike Cave. That could certainly be useful, or maybe even Laser Bridge if our shields are not cooperative tonight.
And just finding dungeon items there in the cell means that we have to check this big chest, and it's another dungeon item, so last item is going to be on blind.
And of course, there's the mushroom. That's the only thing we really found so far in Thieves Town. There's another fetch quest item.
It's not so bad finding the mushroom once you already have the powder. You can just flute over, and that's a really quick turn in. No need to save it for a magic bat check. Yeah, unfortunately, the Mire isn't really going to help Ultyma coming out of this, because without the mitts, he can't grab the frog and start. You can't get to hammer pegs either. The bat's really all he can loop in.
There's our first item. It's a book. Oh my goodness, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all to see Ultyma just head over and do the southern route, pick up the mitts, and then, you know, maybe even decide, hey, I'm just gonna go finish off this whole hammer pegs, bat, and purple chest chain while I'm here. It's not that much of a detour.
I think we need to be careful here. The seed is reading our minds and adjusting on the fly as we're thinking of things.
Hey, I like getting the book. It lets you do the tablets. It also gives us our desert access now. Even though Ultyma, I guess, you know, we'll have that with the Mire once he gets the mitts.
Quick, we need to do a ped check. We need to do all the dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, a ped check is not a bad thing if you're, you know, clearing Skull Woods, but since you have to do everything anyway, let's see, we have desert, pod, and Thieves Town being our pendants. Is there anything that is actually locked that we need?
Okay, a little bit of thinking here about what we would need to progress through those locations. Now,
just the rods, I guess.
Yeah, desert would not. We'd have at least one fire source, or the boots could possibly also be required if it's boots locked. We don't know that yet. Pod, bow. In theory, we would need the lamp as well. And then Thieves Town is pretty much just, you know, hey, just show up and go in there with anything.
Yeah, well, we already have the Thieves Town pendant, so we know we have everything we need for Thieves Town.
Right.
There could be quite a few items though on the pedestal. I mean, either of the rods, the boots, the flippers, potentially the boots. I mean, you know, the canes. We have a lot to roll out.
Yes, indeed. We still have quite a bit that we're going to be looking for here. It's all just a matter of question of when does everything line up, and ultimately we'll be going to Hype Cave. We'll be getting the mitts and the tempered sword. I feel a little bit bad about that, considering that he's going to have to walk all the way back to Kakariko just to do the Smith's Chain. Probably will be wondering, like, oh, why couldn't I have found this like 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, and the Smith's Chain, as well as the hammer pegs, the bat, you know, it's not a. You might say I'm tempted to continue on and check into the pyramid, catfish, pod, eastern, but without the bow, you're gonna have to double dip those dungeons.
Yep. Very interesting to see where does Ultyma go here. Is it back to 3? No, it's to 6. So he's thinking desert.
Yeah, checking the ledge, back to 6. We're gonna get the Mire items and checkerboard, so that's 4 really fast items to check, and then the Gina's Cave as well. Even if we just do the overworld, I saw Ultyma do the same play last night. As soon as he got access to this area, he immediately checked these 3 items.
It's not a bad play. We get some intelligence here as well. It looks like that is Ether hanging out for the access to Misery Mire, so a little bit of vanilla.
Yeah, nice blind fight for Cube. No damage taken. Perfect blind fight.
Ooh.
And the silver arrows there is a nice fight for Ultyma.
Very much so. Silvers and a fire shield. So Mire Shed turning out to be pretty nice tonight. Now, here, I think there's got to be a hitch. You know, we're getting everything. We're just hit 30 minutes, and look at look at all the stuff that Ultyma and Cube have right now. Look at all of the things that they found. And Cube's gonna be heading up to Skull Woods, so he's gonna get that mirror in just a moment.
Yeah, I mean, we might potentially have, the bow being, an item that's hard to find since not too much is locked. Of course, there's the dreaded, Ice Rod Troll. Well, I missed what the Mire medallion was. I don't know if Ultyma can get in there now. He has the hook shot, so he can get across, and he could complete it, without having the, depending on key layout, you might be able to get through there without the lamp.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just maybe he wants to go in. Oh, it's boots locked. Boots locked, Desert Palace. And yeah, it's not completable. We need the Cane of Samaria to complete it. So maybe he's also waiting to find that Cane of Samaria first before he dedicates a dive into Misery Mire. Because it's not a dungeon you want to have a double dip.
Yeah, I got way ahead of myself on that one.
It's alright. It's easy to get kind of caught up in the moment sometimes and be thinking like 2 steps ahead. But yeah, one of the things to keep in mind here is that Misery Mire is such a slog. You have to, when you come back in, you have to go down the stairs through that first room again and then go all the way down to Vidi. There's no fast way to get in there.
I don't know why, but like mentally, I saw the silvers and I was like, okay, that's going to be an easy Vidi fight now with silvers, and we don't have the bow, we don't have the cane, we don't have a fire source.
We don't have the lamp.
Yeah,
we're still looking for things, but
I really got ahead of myself on that one.
That's all right. I think Cube is about to pick up the mirror right here. Yep, going into this room with the Gibdo, gonna pick up the mirror out of this chest. He'll know he's got 2 items. He can head on out.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that skull. I love that skull. That is great. I want to see Cube do a little bit further and give us that graveyard ledge check that we missed. That Ultyma decided not to do. So Ultyma will probably decide, having seen that shovel now, we'll probably decide I'm going to go ahead and do the purple chest and check that shovel spot on the way. You do that shovel spot, you do the Bombos tablet. It's a pretty efficient route.
But ultimately, I'm going to be checking we're going to get a check of Graveyard Ledge as well. And Cube. Well, the Smiths have just 20.
I'm voting for Graveyard Ledge boots.
Oh, that would be something. No, it's another big 20.
And that one he picks up, though.
Ooh, we are getting a bat check. And the mushroom turn in.
We are getting so as commentators and viewers, we're getting so many of these spots checked right now.
Absolutely spoiled. Another big 20. Is this a big 20? Come on. Oh, it's a heart.
I mean, we've seen so many items though. The big 20s have to be somewhere.
You just don't want to see them. You just want to keep finding items at this point. If you're both these runners, you're just like, we got so much good stuff.
Interesting choice by Ultyma. Fluting down here to turn the chest in directly. We're not going to be able to do the dig spot or the Bombos tablet without the Dark World access. Well, we did get a force sword though.
Yeah.
Damn, that's nice.
He's going to go into a Guinness cave now. This has been open since the start. Let's see if there's anything in here, if it's just junk. My feeling is junk because we found so much other stuff that we gotta, like you said, we gotta start finding that other junk somewhere.
Yeah, surprised you didn't check this after Checkerboard Cave. It's kind of like right there. Might have been thinking like I'll do it after Desert, and then Desert, ended up being locked. But Cube, this is our first look at the Dark Death Mountain, so we'll get to see our Turtle Rock Medallion, and there's also there's a lot of items up here. 2 in Silver Bunny and 4 in Hookshot Cave.
Absolutely. Getting checks to all those right now. Big 10 arrows, more 10 double arrows. Bunny Cave, so not really anything too important there.
Yeah, Ultyma making the same play, following Cube up to Dark Death Mountain. Ultyma still has to do that Hera check, but we know it's going to be blocked off without the fire source. I think it's still worth checking though, because you can do Spike Cave now, and you can also do the Ether medallion. Sorry, the Ether tablet rather.
Yeah, Ether is the medallion to get in Turtle Rock, so we're good to go on that.
Is Ether the Misery Mire one? It's so small I can't even make it out.
I think so. I think I saw that. I think I saw it with Ether. And here's the Canberna.
So we're done on medallions then, assuming that we don't need bombos in order to complete Ice Palace. We can find the fire rod somewhere. That'll be all we need on medallions. I like Cube. We're heading back here. We're not going to do Hera. We've already seen that. This is probably going to be the tablet and hopefully Spike Cave.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is the decision here, Tiru. I think that's probably a wise call. Ultyma is going to be following Cube here, going around, getting that sweet Turtle Rock information. It's valuable for his everyday life. Cube finding a heart, not the Sank heart on the Ether tablet.
Yeah, Sank heart before doing Spike Cave would be a nice treat. I don't know what the odds of a fairy being there. I think it's like 50-50, but it's pretty good. Usually you do see a fairy in those Spike Cave bushes.
We're seeing Cube do the painful walk. Can use that Cannon Burner now. And he should be okay. Yeah, he's gonna be more than okay. Save and quit probably after this. Just a big 20 though.
It's still worth completing everything you can up here. He already has the Hera knowledge as well. Ultyma, a little actually surprised that Ultyma didn't take a peek in there. For all you know, the first item that's the one that's sitting out in plain sight could have been your fire source, and the first chest is pretty quick to check as well. But he's too far along now, so he's not going to be able to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Ultyma is not going out of his way to check too many locations. I mean, he didn't do the Graveyard Ledge. He didn't do the Hera check. Looks like he's really prioritizing just pure item density.
And there's the sick kid turn in for Cube. We're seeing a lot of this actually. We're seeing a lot of just back and forth swapping of checks and items and whatnot.
Yeah, we haven't seen the dig spot. So Cube now also needing to do that K45 check. Because he didn't have the mirror. Maybe he'll walk the purple chest down the whole way and route in everything.
Probably. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. Ultyma going to, looks like Pod. Maybe thinking Pod and Eastern Palace. And probably a turn into that green pendant as well to Sahasrara.
Definitely. We still have the 3 items in Sahasrara's hut. So it's 4 items on the walk over here. We're really, I think at this point, we're really looking for a fire source. That's blocking our progression. And Hera, in desert, as well as the boots in desert. Mire's fire source locked lamp would really be nice.
What's in the closet here? It's Hospital's closet. 300 rupees. There's all the rupees and the ice rod. Okay, so that answers that question.
Yeah, back of Sasharal's hut that's another one of those locations that's been open since the beginning of the game. Ice rod, not something that we actually need for quite a while. We're gonna need the fire rod and the can of Smaria before we can do anything in Turtle Rock. But it's good to get out of the way. Definitely. Nobody wants to check the digging spot today. Cube, man. At least he's going in the dark world. I don't know if this is actually any faster though.
So let's see what shows up here in Palace of Darkness for Ultyma. Making a decision on this play. Cube actually, oh, gotta get that purple chest.
Yeah, I'm not actually, like I said, he had to ran to the dark world and walk all the way back up here. I actually think this is kind of slower than just having walked it down here from the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cube may have been having something else and then changed his mind.
Entirely possible if that was the decision, and Cube remembering before jumping off the ledge to go ahead and get back into that portal.
Gosh, it has been so long since I've even seen the mirror shield, it seems. But Ultyma picks it up in pod. I really don't remember the last race I saw anyone get this.
Yeah, we had it in our last race, but it turned out it was nice to find because you had to get an item off Laser Bridge, so made it a lot easier. Oh wait, no, it was actually the race before that, because last race I commentaried, we skipped Laser Bridge.
So we no bow. We ran out of keys, so we're logically blocked from further progression here in House of Darkness. But Ultyma is going on the right side, so he's going to show us the really fun bottle glitch. I love this glitch. If you want to explain this.
Yeah. So what Ultyma is doing here is kind of it's very similar to Yuzuhara's bottle adventure, but it's like much less so. What basically we're going to see is Ultima's going to walk to the left, he's going to drink a potion, and that's going to unsnap the camera here so that he can go all the way to the right here and move the gorillas. Once we're out here, he's going to kill him actually, and that red one's off the, a little bit of a different variation there, but that red one off the screen makes the game think he's already defeated it. So it opens the door once those green ones are either off the screen as well or dead. So the game thinks that you've completed the kill everything in the room task, and the door opens up and you can just walk right on through. So it lets you bypass having that bow lock.
Yeah, it's a good trick. I like that one. To clarify, chat. It's like, you have to just walk left. You have to actually be really careful with that. It is that simple, but you do want to practice it. If you go right even one frame, the camera will reset and you'll lose your positioning. So you have to be holding left as you use the bottle and keep holding left and really go like right around the corner, hug the corner. It's not hard once you practice it though.
Yeah, it's just one of those little things that takes a little bit of practice to get right, and once you have it, it's pretty simple to execute. A lot of the little glitches and tricks in this game are fairly similar in that regard. It's just a lot of practice to make them work.
Yeah, so we did see Cube complete the purple chest and Bombo's tablet. Didn't have any items of import. Ultyma though, this is the pod play that I typically make. If I'm in this dungeon, I'm gonna want to go as far as I can, and he got the 2 small keys he needed. So these are 3 additional chests that he can open. He can get all the items that aren't on Helmasaur without that bow. All these dark rooms, you gotta keep in mind, there's sequence break, but it could have something that saves him some time.
Ultyma giving a happy slash there. The key is showing up in Harmless Hellway. Very, very excited to find that because it means that he can now go to the left here and get the 2 chests in the Dark Maze, which is probably one of my least favorite rooms in the game. I do not like to do it. I'm still kind of not practiced this enough to really be able to do it in the dark. It scares me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I think the other chest in here. No, never mind. I was gonna say if this would have had to be a key if that other one wasn't, but
Nope.
Yeah, this what I recommend all runners who's trying to do dark rooms is just open a map up and practice with the map open. Even in tournament races, you can have a map open, and it's a lot easier.
Hey, there we go. There is progression back there. It's the flippers. Out of logic, but still, he's got something.
Interesting item. Flippers being out of logic is a tough one to keep track of. We typically see, some runners do fake flippers to get to a lot of locations anyway, so it's something that we're used to keeping track of. But that does let us get to a full clear of Swamp Palace now, out of sequence, as well as Ice out of sequence. And ice we still need a fire rod rather for. Can't do ice, but we could do swamp if we wanted to. A painful thing for Ultyma will be if we find the bow here in Eastern after all that work.
Yeah, it would certainly be kind of a bummer because he'd be like, "Oh shoot, I could have gone there and gotten it in the first place." Finds the lamp though.
Oh, well,
it's okay that he can do the dark rooms, so we're glad he's got that skill. But yeah, I'm sure he would have rather had lamp.
That's that. The flippers are still a sequence break though, because we needed to sequence break those small keys to get them, the big key and the dark maze.
Hooray!
Hooray for fire source! A unique item requires a bomb. I don't think that's a helpful hint at all.
I don't think it is either. It's kind of like, okay, it's a bombable location. Start guessing.
Yeah, there's only like 30 of those. Yeah, Cube should have his potion, so Cube should be able to do the potion glitch in the dark rooms as well if he wants to. Also choosing to do Palace of Darkness before Eastern means that he's not going to have that lamp, so it's going to be the choice of sequence breaking dark room. I would say the flippers don't really help us that much at this point. You're not going to want to go into Swamp any earlier than you have to. And yeah, I mean, Ice Palace we can't even get into, but we don't want to do Swamp, we don't want to do Ice, and the Overworld flipper locations, we could just fake flipper if we really wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really, that doesn't unlock as much maybe as we think, but who knows? Maybe we could find something in one of those flipper locations that will change the routing a little bit. Yeah, Trickman asking Swamp's item dense though. Well, it is correct. It is indeed true. Swamp is item dense, but you really don't want to have to check all of those extra locations for items if you don't have to. It's doing it in Go mode, just going straight to the back is so much quicker.
Yeah, and another thing to keep in mind is we're not actually looking for too many items. I mean, we've had so many things in the seed, and this is an all dungeon seed, so at this point, you're gonna want to do, focus on locations that you can full clear. In that sense, swamp, isn't a bad play because it's dungeon and you have to clear all the dungeons. It's also a red crystal dungeon. But we're not going to find the bow there. I don't know. I mean, I might go to swamp. He still has to do the Bombos tablet, and that's in the area. I think what would really be nice is if we do this catfish and Zora, the waterfall fairy, the ledge here, and we see the boots or the fire rod. That's gonna, or even the cane of Samaria. I mean, that's gonna give us some really interesting information, potentially of where the bow is, knowing that the bow locks the flippers.
That's a possibility, but good question will be who goes up to Hera? Do we see somebody make that play at any time soon, or do they kind of try to hold it off for a little bit later, trying to maybe get it in there with the Turtle Rock? Or, having to do it at the last moment when you're kind of forced to do it versus being able to do it like right now.
That's a decent option. Both of the items in Hera remain to be discovered. Yeah, it's not that bad to get up there now that they have the mirror. They can take the direct path. Not a bad play. And the lamp was not a sequence break. So that makes Hera completely worthwhile. So far, these flippers are not helping us.
No, we're getting a Zora check here. Flippers wouldn't really help here at this point, but maybe Zora's got some. It got the bow. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow, that's. I can't think of a better thing. I mean, the bow locked the flippers, but they were in a water area that you didn't actually need the flippers to get to. That's I love that.
The one thing you don't need the flippers to get to in Zora, and it's the progression item.
Wow, that is great item placement. I mean, that's Plando level item placement right there.
We'll need to make sure this isn't the Plando seed.
Yeah, Ultyma deciding he's going to immediately go back and do that. Chat pointing out that Cube, didn't sequence break in Palace of Darkness like Ultyma did, so he doesn't have the flippers. Less of an incentive to do the water areas, but he is, doing Pyramid, and this will most likely lead into Catfish, which will then lead into at least Zora. You won't get the waterfall items, but we know that's garbage. Zora is the item that we need. And if that leads him right back to Pod, then he'll be right back on track. Cube could actually come out of this a little bit ahead in time by not having to do those dark rooms. He's to be able to keep his potion, and you can always do the waterfall very quickly. When you're looping an Ice Palace with the ability to flute down the 8. So he's going up there. He's not missing out.
Absolutely. Could see a very nice play here from Cube. Maybe, I think he has to get his bow in just a minute. It's gonna be pretty nice for him, actually, not having to come back in a second time to go through all the Palace of Darkness. Might save a little bit of time.
Yeah, exactly. The only potential fear that the players might have is the fact that the bow was available to them from the beginning. So someone could have gotten that and then done Eastern in one clear, got the lamp, done pod in one clear without any dark rooms or sequence breaks. So they might be like, oh, did my opponent have the bow this whole time?
Yeah, could put a little bit of fear in either runner that maybe the other one's already picked up that bow and they're probably thinking they're behind.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a major worry with everything that was open in this seed. I really don't think that any runner would prioritize Zora. It's especially the fact that they haven't had that much money. Although Cube might think he's behind, giving Zora a little bit of a refund there.
Oh boy.
A nice Homosaur fight on Ultimus. It's really hard to have a bad Homosaur with the Butter Sword. Yeah, to chat talking about who's, did Cube lose time? I think Cube actually gained some time in this. It's Ultima did those dark rooms. He did the sequence break. The flippers didn't help him at all. He checked the waterfall fairy. Cube might actually never check those locations if he keeps going, dungeon to dungeon. Not wanting or being able to do those dark rooms may actually have saved him a few seconds.
Yeah, that's probably going to help him out a little bit. I don't know if we'll see a bomb jump across to get the flippers to start with, and that might even go ahead and give him a reason to mirror back, depending on the number of keys he has.
Yeah, I think Cube's probably lost a little bit more time due to the Southern Dark World routing, just having to backtrack so many times by not having the mirror. If anything has cost him time, it would have been that. But they are basically neck and neck, and I mean they've done almost all the same locations. They're both finishing off Pod Eastern. Cube has a little bit of game knowledge of what's in Hera, but nothing beyond those first two locations. They're pretty close.
I would say so. And really, we're not gonna find out who's, I guess we'd say, truly in the lead here until we get the go mode, because we're still fairly. It's weird to say this almost an hour in here, but we're still fairly kind of early in the hunt for things. We're barely been in some of these dungeons yet, so got a long way to go.
Yeah, we're at the point now though where a lot is opened up. I mean, we can, we're clearing Pod and Eastern. We can go full clear Hera. We can full clear Swamp, and if that gives us, the boots or the Fire Rod, then we can full clear Desert and Skull Woods. So a lot is going to open up. I think the runners will probably be best served just by sticking in the dungeons for right now. Don't do any more overworld checks.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of just dungeon diving at this point. Checking those dungeon locations first and foremost, and not really putting much focus on the overworld locations.
Yeah, and I think Ultima is making that swamp play. A lot of people will, they'll complain about having to potentially do left side swamp and things like that, but a few minutes spent in a dungeon, you're collecting pendants, you're collecting crystals. That's time generally better spent than searching, overworld locations. Maybe I would have done Hera first. It's quick, but it's probably a wash either way.
So let's go ahead, about an hour in now, just over an hour in. Let's go ahead and kind of recap things for people who might be joining us, or might be, if you're watching the VOD, hi. But if you're tuning in halfway through, catching back up, let's Piece of Hearts and Mimic Cave. So that's the hint from Ultyma. But let's kind of give a very quick recap of what we've already done, what we've already seen, and what we still have left to do.
Sure, we had a really nice early generous seed. We got our Master Sword fairly early. We got our first mid upgrade in the escape sequence. Both players have, we got early flute. The players have followed extremely similar routes so far. We've only seen minor divergences. We have most of the overworld completed at this point, except for a few still unknown items like the boots and the fire rod and the King of Samaria. We've done most of the overworld, and we're probably going to find those in the dungeons as we go.
Absolutely. So what we do know is that the boots are required because Desert Palace is boots locked. The big key is up on the torch, and we need that to be able to get back to Lamola's to complete the dungeon. This isn't all dungeon seed, so even those pendant dungeons like Desert, we're going to have to go in there and beat them to take on Ganon. We're also missing the fire rod, which we need, of course, to get into Turtle Rock and for Skullwood's rear access. And unless we can find the Bombos medallion, we're going to need it to get into Ice Palace as well. So really, Fire Rod is like the item at this point that we're looking for first and foremost. And also missing the King of Samaria, which we're going to need for Misery Mire.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. That Fire Rod is the most important item at the moment. Simply because we don't know if we're going to need it for ice. Fortunately, both of our runners did already get both items out of Skullwoods. It was a very generous Skullwoods, giving us the cape and the mirror in the front half of the dungeon. So they only ever have to go back there just to actually pick up the crystal in order to open Ganon's tower. But they don't need to go there any earlier than that. That means that we could very well see the Fire Rod actually locked behind Bombos in Ice Palace. That's always really fun when that happens.
It could be very, very interesting to see, and we'll see if anybody kind of picks up on that as a possibility.
Yeah, and we can also have the Fire Rod in Turtle Rock as deep as Laser Bridge, depending on the key layout. It's tough to make that Turtle Rock play without that Fire Rod, but it can be in there.
It'll be very interesting to see, do we find it before even getting the Laser Bridge? And probably by the time we get to really considering Laser Bridge, we'll have an idea if it's there or not, because generally these seeds tend to... There's the boots in the back of Swamp.
Yeah, that's going to make left side Swamp a little bit quicker if Ultyma wants to come back in here. But yeah, chat was just saying I hope we can find boots in GT, and I was thinking for a second that even though we need the boots for Desert being an all dungeon seed, we have to get that pendant. They very well could have been in GT, but now we know where they are.
So that's going to open up Desert Palace partially, completely actually, because we do have the fire source to get back there now with the lamp. One of the things worth mentioning is, as we're finding these items, it is definitely the Ultyma's advantage at this point that Cube is just kind of following him through these dungeons.
Yeah, Cube is
not really seeing him yet.
I mean, he's on the right track, and he's got all of the other items prior to Swamp that Ultyma's got. So if he goes to Swamp, then he'll continue to be on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good thing for Cube, is that if he follows Ultyma into Swamp, he's going to be on the right track. The other thing is that he's following Ultyma at this point, and he might need either Ultyma to make a wrong decision, or he may need to make a a different play that leads to some needed progression to kind of pull back some of this little bit of a gap that's starting to emerge here between the two.
Yeah, we saw a lot of indecisiveness from Ultyma right there. He left Swamp, he put out the Mire, and he just decided, no, I'm not going to do it. Seeing that he's missing the big key and 2 items still. This is the worst Swamp layout, though. You have to get the big key on the left-hand side of Swamp and then still go back and check the big chests for your last item. It's your worst-case scenario for Swamp. But I do not blame Ultyma at all for deciding it's not worth gambling 2 items.
Absolutely, because what if those 2 items are Fire Rod and Canis Maria? What if we've seen that? I've seen that in the race so far. Gosh, what dungeon was I'm trying to remember? I think it was Palace of Darkness had all the items in it, and we had runners leaving that twice and 3 times, and if they just stayed in the dungeon, they would have gotten everything they needed to get in the go mode. But they would find something and they would leave because they get so excited, and then they'd come back to Palace of Darkness to keep doing more, and they'd find something else, they'd leave, and eventually they had to come back and check everything else anyways, and the 3rd item was in there, and it's like, oh, come on. He's like, one of those things where you're watching, like, oh, come on, guys, why didn't you just stay in there? It was like pendant pod, so they didn't want to have to do it if they, you don't have to complete it.
Exactly. Everyone has been there. I've been there. Everyone's been there. I saw the hint check on Cube's side at the front of Swamp. I don't know if Ultyma saw that hint, but it said that there was a Heart Piece and Mimic Cave, so it's one location that we can skip.
Yes, we did see that hint earlier when Ultyma came in. So Ultyma will know that that's it. Here's the big key. Oh, wait, no, that's the...
Oh, big key's in the chest. That's convenient.
Chest. Oh.
You don't see that often.
No, it's definitely a possibility. The key can lock itself inside the chest because it's not required to get to Argus. So,
yeah,
one of those weird scenarios.
It's Swamp Palace, though, so it rarely is that cooperative.
Yeah, there's a couple of dungeons that are like that, where the big key can lock itself inside the chest because the big key is not needed for access to the rear half of the dungeon.
Yeah, he did not leave an item in there. It was the key itself that was in the big chest. So Ultyma is definitely good as far as Swamp is concerned. We actually, we having the benefit of seeing both racers, we know that the left side did not in fact pay off. So I don't blame Ultyma at all for making the decision to go back in there. If Cube decides to take that gamble, it will pay off for him, and he'll save some valuable minutes catching up. Absolutely.
Now, he's not going to catch immediately back up, but he's certainly going to be in a better position if he skips that. Of course, we know that, Tiru and chat. We all know that that's the play to make, but Cube doesn't know that.
Absolutely, and I say that, like I said, I agree with Ultyma based on the knowledge you have. We have extra knowledge now. I think I've already seen it.
We've got vision from 20,000 feet above. We can see everything that's going on down these little boxes, and they can only see what they've got in front of them. So it's a little bit of an unfair advantage for all of us.
I always seem to make better routing decisions when I'm commentating than playing. But yeah, maybe it's the ability to see what my opponent is doing.
Absolutely. But Ultyma finding the first mail upgrade, so we know where the other one is. It's on the bookshelf. I don't think we'll see him go get it. But Cube's about to go fast because he's going to get the boots here in just a moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's unlikely we're going to go see that. There's nothing else to route in. If we got the boots a little earlier, they had the Mire and they walked past that several times, we might have seen them pick it up. I got to remember now, we give the 2 boot spots, King's Tomb and the Bonk Rocks that are open. They're quick checks, and that might be worth deviating away from my stay in dungeons rule, given how quick they are. I still would just go to, Tower of Hera next.
I don't think that's a bad decision at all. I think it's very interesting decision that we'll get to see if our runners decide to go to Hera, or again if they decide they want to kind of hold off, put it off till.
Like all of my plays, I'll wait to see what's actually there and then revise what I think is the best call. So Cube finishing up a nice Argus fight. Moment of truth for Cube. Do we take the gamble and skip left side swamp and save a few minutes, or do we take the safe play? If you're feeling behind, and he bombed Zora, so he might be feeling a little behind, and decided to take that gamble. But nope, he's heading back in. Unfortunately for him, it's a safe play. A lot of people would make this. You can't blame him at all for not taking a gamble there.
Yeah, cannot blame him at all for thinking that might be the play to make.
And Ultyma decided to do these two quick boot checks in the overworld. King's Tomb giving us our 4th bottle. Very nice. We are in an excellent position with safeties. The blue mail 4 bottles, and our first row of hearts. Not like it even matters when you have the butter sword and silvers, though.
Really doesn't, but nonetheless, still kind of important to see here.
So hopefully we'll make the Hera play after this, because that bug net isn't going to help us out too much.
Nope.
So if Hera doesn't have our fire rod, fortunately, we can't do Turtle Rock without the Can of Samaria. So there's no possibility that we can gamble there at the moment. But if we find the cane and not the rod up here, that makes Turtle Rock an interesting gamble.
I think it does, yeah. Because you're kind of betting on the fact that the ice rod's in there, and it may very well not be there.
Yeah, best thing you can hope for in that case is just to have the first chest be an item, and be fire rod locked, so you don't have to go any further. Yeah, and Mire's also a gamble. We have the boost and the hook shot, so it's both ways of accessing the dungeon. It's a lot easier now. We actually have the bow, unlike earlier, so we can do that easy victorious fight. Once again, butter sword. Still can't complete it without the cane. Mire said, I don't like the Mire gamble. There's only 2 items in that dungeon.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting gamble if you're going to make that choice, because 2 items in the dungeon, and if you decide to back out there because you don't have can of Samaria, you got to go all the way back through. But Cube is going to be second hobo.
Yeah, these are 2 overworld locations we did not see Ultyma do, because he did, the waterfall and the Zora with the flippers. Yeah, Cube still has to do the waterfall, so we'll probably see those 2 locations as well after this. Bombos here would be really interesting. That would make us really want to go in the Ice Palace. So another big 20, and we already know that the waterfall fairy is not going to pay off. So just unfortunately a little bit of a time loss here for Cube, doing locations that we know is not going to lead to progression.
Yep. Just a situation too, where does Ultyma find that next item, that next important item is in this big chest here. Some cash is above the post, so he's gonna know not to go to Graveyard Ledge.
That's a convenient tip, being one of the out-of-the-way locations that he he oddly skipped during his initial route. Cube did check that, so we knew it was there. But that's a really well-timed tip for Ultyma.
Absolutely. But oh, are we seeing the dive play here from no, maybe not. He's gonna check checkerboard. Is he gonna do
Desert?
No, desert. Yeah.
So last item is on Mothula, and if this isn't progression, then I think we have to make a gamble over to Mire. We're kind of running low. That's a red rupee, so we're kind of low on spots now.
Yeah.
Can you think of anywhere other than Mire?
Let's kind of walk back through this. Let's see if we can think of anywhere that we might have missed.
Pedestal, Mire.
Pedestal? Ped could have something.
Did I say Mothula instead of Moldorm?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you said Mothula. I was like thinking, wait a minute, we got both the things out of Skull Woods already. We know that Ultima's going to check this, and it's not going to be anything. It's going to be a heart.
It was an M named boss. Give me like half credit.
Is Moldorm like the larval form of Mothula?
I was thinking this was an Randomizer seed. That could have been a Mothula.
It could have been great.
Yeah, this could have been an Randomizer race where everything just happened to be vanilla except the Hera boss, which was Mothula.
Yeah, that's a boss I would not like to fight in that room in Tower of Hera. Just all the space and Mothula just flying around. That's not what you really want to run into.
I've seen Helmasaur a disproportional number of times. Helmasaur's up there, and he just stands over the hole in the floor, and it's a oh man, that is such a pain.
it's like, hi, I'm gonna stand over this hole. I like this hole. This is where I live now. Want to come visit? No, you don't want to come visit. Okay,
right. But yeah, so we have, like I said, we have Mire and we have Pedestal as two locations.
We're gonna get Mire here.
Yeah, blind pull of Ped. It's not great. I mean, you really want to route that in with your Mothula kill.
Come on. Yes. Frozen bird. Are we getting?
He's not gonna toss it. Nah, he won't toss it.
Prove me wrong. Prove him wrong, Ultima. Do it.
Don't toss.
Do it. Yes.
Yes. No, wait, no. I'm claiming that one. He didn't. The bird did not go in the water. I'm calling that. He threw it against the entrance.
Get that one off the rim there.
We'll call that one a tie. He tossed it, but not into the water.
No, he threw it against the side of the dungeon. I really would like to see him walk it into the dungeon. That's my favorite one to do. You just pick it up and walk in. But Ultima going to check the first chest here, and Misery Mire making the gamble that there's some kind of progression here. May very well be the case because we don't have a whole lot of places left to check, and that's the map to start with. Let's see what we find in here.
Cube picking up his mail in Desert, and so he's done, and he's basically in the same situation now as well. Where's he going?
Yeah, what is?
Oh, he's doing the boot spots.
Ah, okay.
That makes sense. Without the restarted Sanctuary. A little bit slower. So unfortunately, neither runner got the one of the best hints you can get that tells you what's on the fire-locked section of Mire. Ultima not going over there first. He's going to gamble on finding the big key and some items over here. There's a fire rod.
That's a good call to go check that. He's got a fire rod now. Is that 2 items? Does that mean he knows that he's just looking for the big key at this point?
I thought that was the first item.
Okay.
The map was in the bridge chest, and I missed what was in the spike room.
There's the big key.
The big key.
Okay, yeah. So he's still looking for an item. It could be cane. It could be French vanilla in here. Well, that would be something.
Cane would be nice. Either way, my Bombos dreams for Ice Palace are dead.
Right. He's gonna mirror out because I think he didn't go left side, so I think he's gambling maybe that left side doesn't have it and he doesn't have enough to get to the back yet. So I think we got a little bit of a tell there from Ultyma what he's thinking for Misery Mire.
Yeah, that is a gamble at this point, because he can do Skull Woods and check the pedestal. That's one item, and then you're picking up the crystal. But that's one more item in Mire on the left side versus 3 items in ice, and the dungeon you can clear, and 2 more with the Pyramid Fairy.
Hey Tiru, we're getting a pedestal check here from Cube.
Oh!
Is it the cane of Samaria?
Blind pull.
Oh,
not even a check.
Blind pull. Is this the cane, or is this a bunch of junk? It's tenure.
It's inevitable.
Ah, well. It was worth a try. You have all the medallions. You might as well. Oh, I wonder if Ultima's gonna do it as well. After completing Skull Woods, if he doesn't find the cane in here, maybe he goes and pulls the pedestal too.
Oh, he's not gonna find the cane in here. We got both of the items in this dungeon, so this is.
Oh yeah, that's
he doesn't even have to check that small chest. Yeah, this was a very generous Skull Woods.
Yeah, you might just be thinking about doing that later. Cube's gonna be going. It looks like doing Tower of Hera.
I think I'll check it later because then you can flute away and you don't have to mirror twice as you would if you check it first.
That's a good point.
Yeah, this is down to the Cane Samaria at this point, and fortunately that cannot be in Turtle Rock. So that's a whole dungeon that is going to be go mode for both of our runners.
You gotta be thinking
it comes down
Ice Palace, right?
Ice Palace or the left side of Misery Mire in the Firelock chest that Ultima decided to skip.
Boy, that would stink for Ultima if that was there. That's like the worst feeling in the world. You skip 1 or 2 chests, and oh no, that's where it is. That's where you need to be going, and you just were like, all right, I'm making the gamble. It's not there, and nope, it's there.
And that's tough with Ice Palace too, because if you had found it in Mire, then you would have been able to save a lot of time doing go mode ice. We'll see if Cube, what choice Cube makes. He's gonna have to go to Mire to at least get that fire rod.
And here's something you don't get to see every day, everybody: a double blind head pull.
Yep.
From both runners choosing to do it
within minutes of each other.
Because why not? It's all dungeons. You have all the medallions. You're here. Go ahead and do it.
So, most likely the Cane of Samaria is going to be in this dungeon. If Cube goes to Mire though and finds it in Mire before going into Ice Palace, then that's going to be several minutes of catch-up time. Otherwise, he's still a couple dungeons behind at this point. It has to finish Terra. It has to decide to get that fire rod.
Yeah, I think if it's on the left side of Misery Mire, it's not game over for Ultima, but it's fairly devastating as far as the run goes, because that's going to pull Cube back a lot. That's going to be a lot of time that Cube's going to immediately get back just from that one find. But we don't know. We've got 3 items here in Ice Palace. Maybe it's a big key at the start. I was thinking maybe it'll be right there and shut me up.
Well, Ultima has a few minutes at least at this point, so having to, full clear ice versus go mode ice, that's not going to be the single game changer. It would just be an opportunity to close the gap a bit. So there is a Moldorm kill for Cube, successful for both of us, and he is making that Mire play, which he has to do. He's gonna at least get his Fire Rod. You were saying, you're talking about Pod earlier, but the same thing applies here. You really can be tempted to just find one item and then bail out of the dungeon.
Absolutely. So we get to see here if Cube is going to stay in the dungeon, go to the left side and check those, or if he makes the same play Ultyma did. Check that right side, check the middle, and just decide to say, I'm going to wait to do left side until I absolutely need to.
When I'm still looking for items, I like to check the left side of Mire first. I don't really like the let's hit the switch, go all the way to the right, then go all the way back to the left. Just like left side swamp, you have to bite the bullet and just go ahead and do it. So we might see Cube just commit to that even before picking up the Fire Rod.
Meanwhile, Ultyma going through Ice Palace here, going upstairs to get the H-shaped room.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an odd play. Usually when you're only looking for one item, you'll hook shot back and open that one chest before heading up here.
I think maybe thinking that if it is back here, might as well do due diligence and check all these in the first place. This has found a key and a compass, so could still be there.
Yeah, it's a quick. I mean, you take some extra damage by having to walk across the spikes, but it's it makes a lot of sense, and most players will check this one chest. If it's your item, then you're done. Just a map in this case, though. So we have the big chest, the freezer room, cold stair, and the XT room. That's still to go. And Cube, he's committing to the left side first, just to do the full clear route. This could be it. This could be the moment of truth here.
Nope. As soon as you said that, we got our go mode item, and Ultyma dashing into go mode at 1 hour 27 minutes 53 seconds, finding the Cane of Samaria in the iced tea room of Ice Palace.
At the time I said it, I said could, and it was still potential to be true.
Okay, yeah, could. You said could, and then almost immediately Ultyma was like, nope. So that's the lunchbox hint there for Cube, which will be now very helpful.
Alright, well, go mode for Ultyma and a dungeon advantage at this point. Very, very favorable positioning for his race.
Absolutely. He's going to have to go back into Mire here to complete it, but he'll be able to do it all in one clear. Cube is not going to have that luxury. He's going to have to go out.
Yeah, Cube, though, is most likely, unless there's an overworld location that he didn't check that we forgot about, he's probably going to be following in Ultyma's tracks due to a lack of any other options.
Absolutely. So we will see. We're definitely going to see Cube following up, but he's going to be quite a bit behind at this point.
Yeah, we're about one full dungeon difference at this point. Ultyma coming out of ice and Cube heading into ice. Yeah, a full clear ice difference. That's the thing about all dungeons mode, is that you end up going basically everywhere. It's, you know, maybe a little bit less of a double dip than Sanity, where you could, you know, triple or quadruple dip a dungeon if you're really, really unlucky. A double dip is basically as bad as it gets in all dungeons, but you do have to go everywhere, and you end up opening almost everything.
And Cube, of course, not going in Ice Palace. He will be in Go mode shortly, but he's going to have a little bit more to do in Go mode than Ultyma is going to have to do.
Yeah, Skull Woods it's just, you know, killing the boss, and it's, you know, he has the boots, so it's going to be pretty fast to get there, but that's still a good 2 minutes of additional work. Otherwise, it's, you know, they'll both have Turtle Rock as their last dungeon, and it'll be a Go mode TR. You don't really get to save too much time in a Go mode TR. We're already skipping Mimic Cave because of the hint that we got, and we get to skip the vanilla big chest. Maybe we get to skip the actual big chest based on key layout. This is a nice position to going for the glitch and missed it. Oh, didn't get it. This is a nice vitreous fight though. I mean, you have silver arrows and you have the butter sword, so you can do silvers or you can just do NMG strats, and either way, it's going to be a quick fight.
He's going to choose the silvers route. A little bit quick. Just 2 shots to the eye. And bye-bye, Viddy.
Hey, another small key. And poor Cube, just he's gonna have to come all the way, given his routing, has to come all the way back up here. Unfortunately, the bomb jump is actually costing a little bit of time. This can still be, like I said, an annoying Turtle Rock, but it's essentially a formality at this point. It's not going to be a challenging dungeon. And Ganon's Tower, Aga 2, we already have Aga 1, so it's just drop down into Ganon. Everything's straightforward on this.
Pretty much. It's going to be pretty point and click almost for Ultyma. Just go here, do your things. Go to Ganon's Tower, do the game, prove us all wrong, make me guess wrong again. Oh, we did Aga 1. That's right.
Oh, I thought we did Aga 1. You know, I just completely
No, we
forgot.
haven't.
I know we haven't now that I thought about it. But
Yeah, shout out to Trinex in chat, not the boss. Trinex has a underscore after their name. But shoutouts to them for reminding us that we have to do Aga 1 here, so...
Yeah, that's really my bad, because I even said we have Aga 1 done.
So yeah, you know what, I would guess Ultima will probably do GT, Aga 2, Aga 1, and then Ganon. It's usually the route that most people will take, because that kind of spits you right back out in front of your portal, and then you just go fight Ganon.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Trinex with the underscore. That's just thank you very much to Trinex with the underscore for helping us out there. So I was watching the race last night, and one of the runners didn't have a hook shot, and had to do this this torch puzzle the other way, and we were having a conversation about it. I was like, and I always forget that that's the normal way to do it.
Yeah,
like that's the way you have to actually do it. But it seems like the wrong way now. The hookshot is the right way.
Yeah, like Rando and just speedrunning this game in general has just broken our minds to what the logic should be for these puzzles, because we know faster ways to do them than what they're intended.
Yeah, and I always look at this and I'm like, oh, no hookshot. You have to do this the backwards way.
Like the way that the game developers intended. That's the backwards way, guys. That's the wrong way to do it. We're just sitting here 27 years later telling you how to do it the right way.
Exactly.
I do kind of wonder sometimes if, like, 12 hours away in Japan, there's just sometimes in the middle of the night, it's just Miyamoto sitting in front of a desk watching Rando, just being like, this is not how this is supposed to be. Why are they doing it this way? What have they done to my game?
I've seen, like, I remember reading, like, I've seen, like, Kotaku interviews and stuff with, like, VTorp and Carcat and different developers, and they've talked about the evolution of Randomizer over the years. So there's been, like, some industry press coverage on it. Obviously, it's taken off. We have such a huge community now, but I've never seen anything from the actual, like, original developers. And I love, like, in the credits, they're listed as, like, the original developers. It's going to be like, 5 years from now, they'll be like, just Ness will be all that's listed because the game has been rewritten so much since then. But I'd love to hear their thoughts.
But anyways, Ultyma making a beeline right through Turtle Rock at this point, just making it look super easy. He's got a key too as he heads down to the basement roller coaster here in Turtle Rock, so he's not going to go to Laser Bridge at all, just going to bypass it completely. No need to go there.
Yeah, the key situation has been favorable. Get to skip Laser Bridge.
Absolutely.
Well, Cube is knocking out his victorious fight. No problems at all there. Still has to kill Mothula in Skull Woods, and then we'll be making his way up to Turtle Rock as well.
Absolutely. So we're getting close to Crystal's complete, and maybe approaching Ganon's tower here in just a moment on Ultima's side.
Yeah, and we will have a we have a GT guessing game now on the ALTTPR channels, so keep that in mind, guys.
Indeed, we've got a lovely little bot that's been written for that, so we'll be able to go ahead and bring that fun to you as well here.
Yeah, no leaderboard, so it doesn't matter if you donate or subscribe, but you feel free to if you want to. I mean, no one's gonna stop you. Hey, there's Bombos. That's where it's been hiding all this time.
Wow. Yeah, I think we'll get started here. Tyru Bot's gonna tell us get your GT Big Key guesses in. First viewer to get it closest is gonna get themselves a prize here.
It's
and
nice
that prize is
Bombos.
our love and affection and our appreciation for being here. We love you all very much. Thank you so much for being here, and be sure to follow our runners tonight.
This is a really tough part of the race where you're being a tracker and, like, you have to stick around for that one last mouse click. It's like I got one thing left to click, and then I can go to bed.
Yes. So I went ahead and go for 10. Yes.
Did you make a guess? You guessed number 10? All right.
Yep, number 10.
I can't guess 10 anymore because I get yelled at by winning with 10 once, so I can't pick 10. I'm gonna go with 1.
You go with 1. Okay.
And I lost.
So, and you've lost.
I wanted to get it out of the way.
I can't blame you. All right, so we're going to see Ultyma going to the right here. We saw 1 and 2 are nose. Got 3, 4, 5, 6 coming up here in the right side. I believe it's the compass room is on the right side, right? If I remember correctly.
I don't go overhead this way normally. I don't know what's over here.
I always forget because there's like 3 different rooms. And they're all the same because they all have 4 chests in them. And I only remember which one is rando room and which I always forget what the other 2 rooms are.
Compass room.
Yeah, it's compass room, I think. Yeah.
I thought that was
the other one's dark magician room. And then there's
what's in the fire bar? The fire snake room. I thought that was the compass. Was that the map? No, that's a key.
Yeah. I can't remember. But anyways, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, this is part of the problem with rando sometimes is you forget where things are naturally, especially in GT because you're not always having to do all this exploration and chest opening and whatnot. Double fire bar is the map. Thank you, Trinex.
So I don't want to just see what like NES developers today think of Randomizer. I would like to go back in time 30 years and like put this in front of someone who's doing in their quality assurance department and just see how many bug reports get written up.
They'd probably just pick the console up off the thing and throw it at you.
Exactly. I can't find anything.
There's 8. Number 9. Here's my guess. Number 10. Nope. I'm wrong.
They are all losers today.
Up here's that double fire bar room we were just talking about. And it's got the heart this time.
It's been a pretty easy seed with, you know, all the swords and everything, but it's actually been a little bit stingy on health. Only 13 hearts after so many locations checked.
Indeed. Wrong key. That's a key, but not the key that we're looking for as we head over to Rando Room.
I do love the randomizer room. Never knew this was even here. It's a randomizer.
Yeah, it doesn't really get checked until Rando because there's very little that's in here. There it is. First chest in Rando Room. I should have stuck with my gut.
You should have. I usually say rando room as well, but I got greedy this time.
Yeah,
it's never number 1.
So I believe is that 14? I think 13 or 14. I'm trying to remember here.
I thought you were counting.
I was, and then we talked about rando room, and I forgot about what number I was on.
Yeah, so pick a random number to celebrate rando room.
Okay, so let's see here. Let me just double back here. So 7 was the torch, and then we had 11, 12, 13, 14. It is 14, yes. And that would make sense because the next ones would be 18, 19, 20, 21 after that, and tile room's 22. So 14.
Or we could just wait and let Jixon type it in.
And
of course, are always on top of those things.
The correct guess, believe it or not, is actually Jixon, who guessed 14. Wow. Jixon, please.
Yeah, and our restreamer Synac is a sore loser.
But yeah, thank you all for participating in that. So Jixon said he would have, yeah, he always picks Bob's chest, and that would have been 14. That's 14 on the normal route. If you go first 2 on right and then go immediately left, that is 14. So yeah, he would have had it if it was wait, or he did get it because Ultima did go to the right full clear.
Somebody won! Yay!
Indeed. But
I don't know.
Ultima, meanwhile, making
the guessing game.
Guessing game is great, but Ultima is making very quick work of Gauntlet, doing a nice job cleaning it up. As we're talking about guessing game here.
So Cube can save a little bit of time by just doing full left at this point. So that's always nice that you can do. I don't like the full right side.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a hassle.
Sonic says he's going to implement a leaderboard right after saying he's going to change so he always wins. This is fair.
Yeah. Sonic, please. So we are seeing Ultima make a very quick work of both parts of the most satisfying room in the game. And now going through the torch room here. About to go up the stairs past the point of no return. Actually, no. Really, the point of no return is after Moldorm 2 when you go across that gap.
Yeah, no tower despawn for Ultima. I actually saw one like 2 weeks ago. It was the first one I'd ever seen after watching hundreds of these races. I finally saw one.
Yeah, it's a thing you never want to see though, because it means you're going back down and doing the whole thing over again. And boy, that's a huge amount of time to have to do that. But hey, it's Moldorm again. Hi, buddy. How you doing?
Yes, Moldorm indeed, not Mothula.
And he was there, and now he's gone. Ultima forgot to switch to hook shot, so he's gonna have to. He's gonna open up the chest for us. The final chest. It's a piece of heart.
And Cube is finishing up his Tyrannix fight, so he's going to be heading into the tower just as Ultima is heading into Castle Tower. They'll each be starting their own towers.
And there's Aga 2, so we've killed future Aga before we have to go fight past Aga.
Yeah, normally you don't have to actually go back and fight the ghost of Aga past, but this time we do.
Yep. And of course we are indeed going to see Ultima go ahead and mirror right at the front door here, as expected, and we're going to go see him do the other Aga fight now, as Cube is entering Gan's tower.
Wow, you use the silvers, the fire rod, the butter sword. How do you possibly get past these guards?
Easily. Especially when you have butter sword.
Ooh, and Cube going for full left, so he's gonna pick up a minute or two here.
It's a good decision. This room, this is the maze that really stinks. We're talking about Pod Dark Maze before. That one is even worse.
Yeah, there's the problem is the the mini Helmasaur things or the Dodongos, you can tell where they are because they shoot big glowing fireballs. The guards, not so much. And people actually practice the pod in the dark room.
The guards are just like, yeah, they're not there. This doesn't get much practice because it's such a rare thing. Maybe less so at this tournament. And in Key Sanity, because you have chests up here that you might need to go grab something out of. But in most straight up races, you will not see that dark room maze in Castle Tower.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're still looking for the lamp, then there's enough spots that you can be looking for the hammer or the mitts to skip it. So it's very rare that you see it. I like the All Dungeons mode because it gives you the option to commit to basically everything in the game. Nothing is a gamble.
And, oh, hey, didn't we just kill you?
This is his evil twin.
It's his brother, Dave Ganon. And of course, one of the things to keep in mind here is that you will get a fireball guaranteed on every start, and now we've just got to count the number of blue balls that Ultyma's going to be getting here. Which he's got 2 so far. He's very happy about that. But 3. Wow, 3. And of course, the 5th attack is going to be lightning. And then we go back to the cycle. So Alaga's going to go back here and revert to number 1. So yellow fireball. And then let's see what we got here. We got to get 6 inside. Oh, God.
Not his day.
Is this the Fable 15? Nope. Okay. That's 3. There's 4. So he get 2 more. He's gonna get 1 here, and then he's got to just get 1 more out of the random selections. And he accidentally
That's
mouse.
a hood? That's not his face? I thought that up until just now.
Yeah, that is the hood.
Yeah, Trinix with an underscore. We all thought that.
And now we just have a simple drop down to Ganon. What do we have today? Hint-wise. Tipple. Oh, Grumble. We got the Grumble. Seriously, you're supposed to bring food.
I wouldn't call any of
Zelda
these
1. Yeah, a little bit of Zelda 1 love there. I would love it if somehow they programmed an item in here that was food and you couldn't beat Ganon unless you brought like a 6-pack of, like a bag of Doritos or something.
I get your Doritos. Don't do them in the
I mean, look what's on the floor there. It's like 3 Doritos.
Maybe they're doing another festive ROM this year, and then you'll have to bring Ganon a candy cane. Or a Thanksgiving one with a turkey leg would have been nice. That would have actually been Zelda 1 appropriate.
Did you find arrows in the Dark World? Sure did. Found that in the wire shed. Ultyma gonna be shooting arrows into Ganon here. He's gonna finish 1 more. Just gotta be careful, and it looks like he's pretty good to go. So ready those GGs in chat here. Ultyma just needs to walk across the way here as Cube is making his way up the tower. And there we go. Get your GGs in chat. Ultyma has finished in first place with
GGs.
a official SRL time of 1:54.28.
That's pretty nice. Any sub 2 for an all dungeons is a pretty good time.
Absolutely. That's a really nice time. And we'll see about getting Ultyma in here for some post-game interview and chat. And ZzCube is right now working right up the top again in this tower here.
Yeah, Cube has had a pretty nice run. I can't think of like any. I mean, I don't know if there's any real major thing that threw him off. I think it's just a couple little things.
Yeah, just a few small things, maybe a few routing decisions that weren't quite as optimized as Ultima's decisions, and you know, it's one of those things too. You weren't really gonna know if that was the right call or not until we were able to see that, and there's no way that Cube would have known, hey, you need to go exactly here and get this exact thing at this exact time. Just kind of a guess, and maybe, you know, checking a couple of extra overworld locations, slow down a little bit more.
Yeah, not really taking any gambles, and you know, in a seed like all dungeon seeds, you know, when you're going everywhere, you're either going to win on a lucky gamble or you're going to win on, you know, consistently better execution.
And of course, make sure to follow Ultyma and Cube. So we've put the links in the chat there. Give them a follow. Putting on a great show tonight. Really good runners. You know, getting in the top 96 here for the bracket stage of the tournament is no small feat. We had plenty of people that were participating in really, really top-notch qualifiers. Cube is going to do the same thing here. Going to go ahead and mirror back to the late world, take care of Aga 1, and then we'll see the Ganon fight on his end.
This totally messes with my adrenaline. It's like you have Aga 2 and you're like, oh wait, we have to go do Castle Tower.
So by the way,
it kills the rhythm.
Yeah, so just to give you a quick update on how this affects the brackets, Ultima has now completed 9 matches, sitting at 4 and 5. Will be, I believe, 3rd place in Group B. Frame is well ahead. Frame is pretty much already qualified for the bracket stages at 11 and 2. Has just been very, very strong in the in the stages so far. Glan is currently sitting 2nd place at 5 and 2. Does have a win against Frame. And the other loss for Frame was to Dainty, who has 1 win, and that 1 win is against the top seed in the group. So, you know,
that would have been a neat race, because he's like 1-7, I think.
Yeah, he's 1-7, but he's got a big win. That's a
big one, though.
That's because that's one of the top runners and probably favorites in the tournament right now.
Yeah, what's Cube at? If you have the page open still.
Cube will drop to, it looks like 2 and 7. So it's a long road to climb. Not out of the tournament yet, but you're gonna have to start. You know, gonna have to pull out some wins here to keep in this.
Ultima, he put a win in his column last night and another win tonight. It's really nice to start, you know, racking those up.
Absolutely.
Maybe give Glenn a run for his money for that 2nd place slot.
Absolutely, Glenn. And Fantalis is in 3rd right now, only having done 6 of the matches at 3 and 3. So we could still see a lot of wiggle room here in this group. Not everybody's completed all of their matches yet, so stay tuned. We'll see who finishes where. There are some super impressive groups that we've got right now. I've got some real barn burners, and you'll want to stay tuned for a lot of these upcoming matches, because there's going to be some definite tiebreakers and some definite heartbreakers coming up, one way or another. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, brackets is going to be interesting just because it's going to be the best of the players. But I'm looking forward to seeing some expert difficulty races where you get like 1 heart refill from a red potion.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And for those wondering too, we do have 2 currently undefeated runners. Erebor is 7-0, and Kyong, well, Kyong is 12-0 in Group J and is already qualified for bracket.
Kyong, he was in he was in like top 2 or 4 in the spring.
Yeah, and yeah, it's actually worth noting we do have our first 2 absolutely verified qualifiers are in Group J, which is Kyong and Chex Human. Based on the number of matches and number of losses that people have, they both have made it into bracket stage, guaranteed.
Nice. We have Cube heading into his Ganon fight now. Obviously excellent position with Butter and Silvers, so should not have any trouble here. But that slow Aga 1 with all those blue balls, it's never fun. It just breaks your momentum.
It does. It's really kind of something you want to get over with quick because you just fought Aga and you're like, all right, I want to do this again. Yeah, brackets are seeded, so they'll want to put themselves in the best position possible. Sinek mentioning. So yeah, Kyong is going to be the 1 seed out of Group J, and Chex will be the 2 seed out of that group. So we'll see. Or it may be just overall. It may reseed as well on the overall standings too. That could be a thing. But anyways, Cube finishing up. Ganon here. As
there we go.
Doing a nice job. Nice clean fight. And he's gonna walk through that door here and he'll finish up. Always nice to see it completed. And we will have a dot done from ZzZCube at 2:02:39 and scene. Indeed. So get those GGs in chat for Cube. Well done. It's a seed that really gave us a lot at the beginning and then kind of trailed off and let our runners choose their own adventure. But indeed, this was a joy to watch. Not sure if we're gonna get any post-game interviews here. Just waiting to see if Ultyma or Cube.
I think Ultima's gonna join in a second.
Okay, Cube is here, I believe.
Yo, GG.
Hey, Cube, GG.
And Ultima and Cube.
All
hey
right.
guys, GG's.
GG's, guys.
GG, my dude.
GG, man.
Well, a very generous seed to start you guys off with. A little bit of a hunt for the fire rod and the cane there at the end, but I'd say no really bad moves. The only rage that we really saw was Cube at Zora there. Not too happy about that, but otherwise, you guys were pretty close most of that race.
Yeah, I think Death Mountain really killed me this seed. Is really what it comes down to. I spent way too much time climbing up and down and way too much time finding straight nothing.
Yeah, it was pretty empty up there.
Yeah.
Rare to.
Yeah, I went up early, found nothing, go to High Cave, immediately find the mitts, so now I go, oh crap, I gotta go back up because if Ultima did this first, I'm in trouble. So I go back up second time, find nothing again. Still can't do Hera.
Yeah, that was a late.
Like a whopping 5 minutes at least.
Yeah, I'd say probably the other big diversions was Ultima going to Skullwoods, basically as the first Dark World place. Get that mirror immediately. Cube, you had to do like the Southern Dark World route. I think you walked past Cave 45 like 6 times that race.
Yeah, I don't know about 6, but a few.
Not 6, but it was a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, I mean, some mistakes were made, but that's okay. I feel alive playing this game.
Yeah, it was very interesting, especially early on with all of the stuff that you guys were getting. You get like Hammer, you had Dark World access super early, you know, flutes, everything was just kind of coming up, and Tira and I were talking like, man, there's gonna be something that's just gonna bottleneck them, because always the way these seeds go is you get a bunch of stuff early, and then it's like, okay, good luck finding the next thing.
Yeah, you spend a half an hour finding a bunch of garbage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, despite having a lot of items in the beginning, not that many items were actually, not that many dungeons were immediately completable. So it did take a while before it started to bottleneck. But you know, once you hit go mode, it's still a half hour of stuff to do. So it became pretty linear. The Mire gamble was one thing that we were thinking, you know, maybe the cane would be on left side Mire. That was the location that Ultima skipped, and just as Cube, you were right there, and then Ultima finds it in ice. It was just, that was like the one potential saving grace.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. Ultima's a bit of a greedy guy. So I can't say I'm too surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually thought about skipping the cane chest and just going to Cold State. Good thing I didn't do that.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, you know, you got to pick one chest sometimes to skip, and you pick the wrong one, and boy, well, that's just going to torpedo your race if that's the case. But
yeah, I guess that's probably the other
yeah.
thorn in my side here, is I skipped nothing. I played way too scared.
Yeah, neither of you guys, Ultima, you looked like you were really considering skipping that left side swamp there for a little.
Yeah, I forgot what I had left, if I had map or compass or the big key, so I almost fluted away, and then I went back in to check. Well, not thankfully, but thankfully, so it wasn't in the back of my mind.
Well, so that's one more win for you, Ultima. I saw your race last night. Like I said, that was fun, and you're doing very well. And I'm glad that both of you guys were able to join us. If you don't have any other questions, Neon, I guess we'll wrap it up. And
yeah, the only thing I really have to ask, obviously, you guys still have a couple more matches to go with the tournament. Now, neither of you actually, you know, it's not like anyone's been eliminated with a loss here or anything like that. You guys are still both in the tournament, still both have a shot to make it.
Oh, let's
obviously,
be serious, dude. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush here.
You can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but in either case, definitely is a situation where you guys do have a couple of matches still to go here in Group B. Is it just going to be going forward kind of a situation where you're just going to kind of be like, all right, you know, I'll just kind of take it easy and, you know, whatever happens kind of situation, especially since we do have looks like we do have at least one of the spots in the group already kind of claimed, but you got that second seed that's up there still.
I'm just hoping for a lot more all dungeon. Takes a lot of the rando out of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to ask too. Is there anything that you guys are really hoping for with the upcoming races that you guys still have, especially with some of those game 3s where it's going to be decided by our friendly bot?
Not retro.
No, I'm looking forward to vetoing standard on Ultima. Get wrecked.
I'll just go do escape right away then.
Yeah, perfect. Escape's always garbage.
Yeah, all dungeons is definitely a mode that is going to pay off execution or gambles. You know, the full clear seeds don't really give you any opportunity to you know, make any good choices. It's tough. On that note, then I'll wrap things up and say thank you again to both of our runners, Ultyma and ZzZCube, for putting on this fun race for us to watch tonight. There's one other race going on this evening on the Speed Gaming 2 channel that's currently in progress. Argyle and Maximum Barrage going at that race, so you guys can check that out if you're interested in another race. Otherwise, the randomizer community is done for this evening. I was gonna say there's plenty of races on the schedule for tomorrow. Thanksgiving for the U.S. viewers, so happy Thanksgiving to those of us in the U.S.
Indeed.
So check out the schedule for those hype matches. Thank you to our restreamer, Synac, doing a good job as always. Helps a lot, does a lot of work behind the scenes, and puts on these wonderful restreams for us. So thank you as always, and our tracker Jixon for keeping us honest, doing an excellent job on the trackers. So glad to have been able to join you, Neon Tiger, and I'll give you the last word to close it up.
Absolutely, Tiro. It's good to join you as well. Just a real quick reminder before I close it out here. We do have the SNES Superstars Marathon still ongoing on the main Speed Gaming channel. Playing actually right now, I'm playing Front Mission Gun Hazards if you want to see a really cool mech fighting robot game as well. That is on Speed Gaming, the original Speed Gaming channel with no numbers in it. So check that out. But remember, as always, good night, good luck, good RNG. Someone out there loves you, and we love you here too. So we'll see you tomorrow for more rando action. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. Happy Thursday if you're not. And catch you on the flip side.